Hello, and thank you for showing interest in history at NSB. This short video will explain how the course works, what we study, and the opportunities that history affords you at our school. There are a number of reasons why students choose to study history at NSB. First and foremost, the content that we study is clearly linked to some of the modern giants of today. We look at the evolution of China as a state, and we look at how Russia has developed into the superpower it is. We also study Tudor Britain, and that gives students an opportunity to look at one of the more intriguing periods of our culture. Whilst also looking at interesting content, we will look to develop skills that will stand you in good stead, not just for A-level study, but for life after A-levels. Notably, we'll look to develop the analytical skills that will stand you in good stead for future studies. In addition, we get students evaluating the weight of evidence and information that's presented, so more informed judgments can be made. In addition, the department at NSB is very well established. We are a popular subject with a large uptake of GCSE students into A-level, and we have a range of experienced teachers who all specialise in these modules. This includes many of the teachers who are examiners for these papers. There are a small number of minimum requirements that we put on entry into the A-level history course. First and foremost, we expect all students to have achieved at least a grade 6 at GCSE history, and we would also expect a grade 6 in English language. Given the nature of our subject, we would expect students to be keen and eager to read around historical topics. With the subject being as it is, we only assess through extended writing, essay writing, and therefore we would also expect students to be aware that this is how they will be assessed. Another requirement, and more important than any of these things, is that students are prepared to work hard and build on the success that they've clearly had at GCSE. We study the Edexcel GCE History Route E31. There are 3 examination modules in this: Russia, from Lenin to Yeltsin, we look at Mao's China, and we look at rebellion, disorder in Tudor Britain. There is also a coursework module which is worth 20%. The diagram there shows how the course is structured, with Russia and Tudors running all the way through year 12 and year 13. The China examination module is delivered just in year 12, and then we start the China coursework in year 13. That takes us up to about the Christmas period or so. Once the coursework is completed, we will then move on to revision for the China paper. The Russia module focuses on the revolution in 1917 all the way through to the collapse of the Soviet Union under Mikhail Gorbachev and Yeltsin's leadership afterwards. This module focuses on 4 key areas: the political control within the Soviet Union. We look at the development of industry and agriculture and how it readies itself for things like World War II. We'll also go on to study about the control of the people, and in particular we focus on things like the KGB and the secret police, as well as methods used by later leaders to subvert the actions of the state. And then we also focus on social developments throughout the period, and we look at the development of education and women's rights, and we also look at housing and various other topics in that sector. The depth study on Mao from 1949 to 1976 focuses on some similar issues, the economic situation, the political control that he exerts, but there's also a specific focus on an era known as the Cultural Revolution, where Mao brings China to a state of near anarchy. We look at how he rises in stature all the way through to the fact that he is potentially responsible for the death of 50 million Chinese civilians, but is still seen as a hero in the country today. In the British focus of the examination, we will look at rebellion and disorder in Tudor Britain. In particular, we look at a number of political and religious challenges to the leadership of the Tudor monarchs, and then we look at some of the rebellions that take place not just within England, but also we look at the issues posed by the Irish question. The China coursework module is completed at the start of year 13. It's worth 20% of the overall grade, and it's a real opportunity for students to explore an area of their personal interest. Although based on the China course that we've studied, you will get to look at one of the key debates in this period and look at how historians have viewed events in different ways. This may be a simple use of their archiving, but it could also be very much because of their political orientation and the views that they have. This is completed in school and it's submitted by Christmas, allowing for the remainder of Year 13 to be focused on revision ahead of examinations. Like all subjects at NSB, A-level history has 6 periods per week, each of 45 minutes. There are the 3 modules all running concurrently in Year 12, and therefore you'll have 2 lessons per week in each module, so an hour and a half for each module. All of the modules run slightly differently, all of the topics run slightly differently, but the skill sets and the structures for essay writing and analytical writing remain the same, and that is applicable across all the modules. One of the reasons why students really enjoy the A-level history course is the fact that there are different modules makes this operate almost like 3 mini subjects within one. There are a number of opportunities outside of lesson time for our Year 12 and Year 13 historians to help out, and we get a number of students act as student ambassadors, and they will work with some of the students in Year 7, Year 8 and Year 9 and help not just with skill sets in history but also in helping students to develop their understanding of the topics and their engagement and enjoyment of history. Some of these students then go on to help facilitate the running of our history club. In History Club, students come together from various year groups and embark upon various research projects that look at significant events in both NSB's history and also on a local and national level. This has included researching the archives of soldiers in World War I and World War II who have been members of the school community, but also looking at a broader range of topics. For students who have keen interest in history, there are a number of opportunities and options after Year 13, and many of the students that we have go on to read history at university, as well as many successfully go on to study law as well as politics. The skill sets that this subject arms you with means that you are more than capable of going on to be very successful in any of these analytical style subjects. That is history at NSB. If you do have any questions, please feel free to get in contact, but we do hope that this information will be useful for you and will help to inform your judgments about whether or not this is the kind of subject that you would like to be studying. Many thanks. Goodbye.